Hello, my friends. AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink. Welcome back to my face and my card making space and another STAMPtember collaboration limited edition exclusive video. For those not aware or just needing a refresher, throughout the month of September, Simon Says Stamp has STAMPtember, the biggest crafty stamping party of the year, and they have partnered with a bunch of amazing craft brands to produce limited edition exclusive stamp sets that are one and done. When they sell out, they're not restocked. However, all of these awesome brands have wonderful product lines, and I will link to the brand always in the description box below the video. This video is using the Clearly Besotted collaboration. Super cute. I've always had a soft spot for Clearly Besotted, and I have quite a collection of their stuff. So I'll have a link to the collaboration set as well as to the Clearly Besotted brand. Definitely worth checking out. They're super adorable. And I will also, of course, have links to everything I used to make my card. My links are affiliate links. That just means that if you click on one of my links, end up placing an order, I get a little kickback from that at no extra cost to you. It is what helps pay the bills and keeps the channel going. That's all the housekeeping for me. Let's get into making the card. So this limited edition set is called Garden Gnomies. I was sold the second I saw it. Because one, Clearly Besotted. Two, what I assume are peonies. That's what they look like to me, which one of my favorite flowers. And three, gnomes. Oh, and four, punny sentiments, which will always get me. I like them. So I took all the images from the set and stamped them onto Neenah Desert Storm cardstock because that has been just something I've really been enjoying as I am being just fully redundant, it feels like, this month. Neenah Desert Storm cardstock and alcohol markers, which yet again I was using my Olos because I have just been really giving them some use this month more than anything else. I'm loving it. So I had stamped everything with Simon's Intense Black ink, which is an alcohol marker friendly ink, and then got to coloring and did all of these florals in pinks because peonies, really. I love the actual flowers. I love the stamps of peonies. I love, dyes that make peonies, all of it. Never not a good thing in my books. And then gnomes. I don't know what it is about gnomes. Especially these ones, they look like, I don't know, puffballs with hats. So I did all the florals first because that was the bulk of the coloring, really, was the florals, because there's that corner piece. I've noticed that Clearly Besotted has done several sets like this, not necessarily florals, but just like a corner cluster, I guess is the easiest way to describe it, and I'm liking it. Like I said, I have quite a few Clearly Besotted sets in my stash. They are adorable. So, did the florals. Then I did the greenery. And then I colored in the centers. And by this point, I had finally decided that I was going to color each of the gnomes in a different color. Just because. So one's going to be yellow, as I've shown, and I just use the same colors that I use for the centers. And then this little dude's going to be blue, or blue-green, kind of turquoisey colors. And with everything, just going darkest to lightest. I jump back and forth. I've noticed that especially this month too. I usually just go darkest to lightest when I'm coloring with alcohol markers. It's a convenience thing. But yeah, I've noticed this month I've been jumping back and forth, sometimes lightest to darkest, sometimes in the middle. There's kind of no method to the madness with me. But most of the time, I do darkest to lightest because it's just convenient. It's faster, less blending. But if you're new to alcohol markers, generally lightest to darkest gives you a little more control. Because the thing with the darker colors is you can't really take that away. Whereas if things are too light, you can go back in and add darker shades. So, anywho, I did the final gnome. I did him with purples. And then I did their skin tones. And then I just used some warm grays for their their little beards. They're little puff balls. Literally. I had so much fun coloring these. I was just like, these are the cutest things ever. So once I was done coloring them, I fussy cut out all these images. Like I've been saying, I did not get any of the coordinating dies this year. And actually, technically, clearly Besotted does not do coordinating dies for their main line. It's only during STAMPtember, because that's Simon Says Stamp is doing the coordinating dies. But yeah, I just fussy cut them all out, set them aside. And then I put a stamp and stencil mat into my MISTI because I need more clearance. So I took the grip mat out of there because I'm using a red rubber on cling foam stamp. This is an oldie but goodie from Simon Says Stamp that I've used like a bajillion times, which is the friendship text background. And I'd centered a piece of, again, Neenah Desert Storm cardstock, and I stamped the background with Simon's LATTE ink. So kind of tone on tone is what that'll create. And then I put my card base into the same spot with the card front facing up, put a piece of Post-it tape right at the score line so I don't stamp past that. And I just inked up the stamp again and stamped this onto what'll be the front of the card as well. So ink that up with the LATTE ink and then stamp that. And then with the stamp and stencil mats, you just kind of bend the mat back on itself to remove the cardstock you have attached to it. So set all of that aside. And then I stuck the first panel that I'd stamped onto a sticky mat. And I'm going to use another oldie but goodie. This is the Tumbling Leaves stencil that came out, goodness, like 5 years ago or something. All of this is still available. I'll have links, like always, to all the supplies. So I pulled that out and then arranged it where I wanted it onto this panel. And I'm just blending a couple of Distress Oxide inks over this. And I'm using peeled paint first, and then I'll add a little bit of Rustic Wilderness. And I had stuck some Post-it tape on either side there of the stencil just so I didn't ink past the stencil, although it's not going to matter because I'm going to die cut this panel like smaller anyway, but sometimes it's better to be safe than sorry because you never know. And then I also pulled out the Ornamental Fine Leaves die set. This came out last year, I think. And I die cut some green leaf cardstock with it and then stuck those die cuts to the mat and then just blended a bit of that Rustic Wilderness Oxide ink. Like, and by blended, I mean slap the ink on. It just to give it that little extra something. You know, a little bit of extra definition. So got that on there. And then I had off camera, you know, kind of figured out how I was going to arrange everything on this little panel, which, yeah, I did die cut it. I die cut the panel that I stenciled with a stitched rectangle wafer die. And then I kind of arranged everything. Nothing's adhered into place yet. I just wanted to see, you know, where it was so I could stamp one of the sentiments from the Garden Nomies stamp set. And that was the one where it's Nomies for life. I don't know why, you guys. I love it. I love silly little punny sentiments. And then on the inside, I'm stamping another sentiment. And this is one that says, "We'll be friends forever, no matter what." Yes. So I stamped that, and then I adhered one of the little leaf clusters and one of the gnomes onto the inside of my card. And my card is that Neenah Desert Storm cardstock, and it's a top folding A2 size card, so 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I got the inside done. So then to assemble the card front, I adhered my little leaf clusters onto this panel using just some craft tacky glue. And then my little gnomes and that little floral corner image, I'm going to pop up with some thin foam squares just to give them a little bit of dimension. Just going to get those into place, tuck in my little gnomes, and then pop this cluster into place as well. And then to adhere this panel to my card front, I'm going to use Simon's Big Mama foam tape. So this will add another, you know, little bit of dimension without a whole lot of bulk, because this foam tape is super thin. As of doing this voiceover, I think it's currently out of stock. They will restock it hopefully soon. I need to get another like 1 or 2 rolls as backup because I go through a fair bit of this stuff. But also FYI, Big Mama foam tape lasts an insanely long time. You get like 72 yards or something in that roll. So yeah, for as much as I use it, it still lasts a long time. Anywho, once I was done assembling, I took my white gel pen and went along and added all the little random dots and lines, basically like all along like the edges of the petals, little dots on the centers, and then same with the leaves, little lines and little dots along the edges. And then same thing with the gnomes, not following like any sort of light source rules or anything, just sticking them where I thought they'd be cute. And I especially love, because since everything is on the Desert Storm cardstock, the white gel pen just pops. So that was my final little embellishment. I decided not to add anything else, and that finished off this card. So like I mentioned in the intro, I will have links to all of the things in the description box below the video. So if you just expand the description box, I'll have links to all that. Don't forget, this is actually video number 2 from me today, because there was 2 collabs released, so I have done 2 videos. So check my channel for the other one if you missed it. Links to everything will be below. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me, for thumbs upping, commenting, all of it. I very much appreciate it, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Bye. Thank you so much to my amazing Patreon supporters. For anyone that might be interested in supporting me over on Patreon, the link to that is in the description box below the video. For everyone else, as always, thank you all so much for taking the time to watch my videos, for thumbs upping, commenting, subscribe if you haven't, I'd love to have you. And here's a couple other videos for you to check out in case you missed them. Bye!